Welcome to the Nite Time Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Nite Time Podcast. I'm K-Nite, and I'm here with Jorgs and Fletcher. How you guys doing?
What up?
Good. We are well.
Good.
I am well.
The PBR hard coffee,
Hard coffee.
unofficially sponsoring my late nights of work.
Nice.
And I've got the wild berry truly.
Wild berry. I've got, I think it's Kroger green tea. The beverages that bring us the Nighttime Podcast.
Yes.
Not officially sponsored, but maybe one day.
I would love to see a green tea box at a grocery store that has your face on it. That's just like endorsed by. That'd be hilarious.
That's the goal for the podcast, is to get my face officially
that lucrative tea.
That's right. That's right.
sponsorship.
I get like,
Oh my god, you're gonna have to stream with, like, in your frame, you're gonna have, like, an entire shelf of tea.
yeah. Well, it'd be easy if it was green tea and in
Yeah.
green boxes. Then I could just,
Oh, yeah.
make it green screen.
Those kind of jokes are not going to get you a tea sponsorship. We gotta workshop that.
All right, yeah, we'll work on it. But anyways, today we're doing the final season of Avatar. If you missed it, we have done season 1 and 2 separately previously. And actually, before we jump into it, I do have some news. Our podcast is actually officially a podcast now. It's on like Spotify. Hold on, I got a list here. Let me pull it
It's
up.
on Spotify. Can I follow
We're
myself
on
on Spotify?
Yeah,
We're on Spotify?
yeah, we're on
Oh,
Spotify,
man. I don't
guys.
know. I got a family. I don't know if I'm okay with this.
Fuck yeah.
Let me see. Where is it? Okay,
You done well, K-Nite. You done well.
I do what I can.
You finally did it.
We're
Next stop, Tivana.
That's right. So it's on Anchor, Breaker, Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and Mixcloud. So,
Man, I've heard of at least a couple of those.
right? Yeah. It's like once you get your podcast up, it's really easy to get it on other platforms. So like,
Well, don't tell people that. We're just building competition. It was really hard. It cost a lot of money.
well, I'm not going to say where I put
No,
it.
there's your
because-
sponsor right there.
No,
How you did that is your sponsor, baby.
Well, actually, where I put
Kroger Green Tea paid for that.
the program I put it up on will pay you to put like an ad for their service on there, but I didn't sign up for it. I can. Like, it's easy to sign up for. Maybe we'll consider doing that, but I'm not super worried about it right now. And I'm also working on getting it on like iTunes, Apple Podcast, iTunes. But it always says like every place I've read has been like, it's such a pain in the ass to get it on Apple, but it just takes a while.
Honestly, if you
Almost
get
Every podcast I
Spotify's-
listen to has pulled themselves from Apple, actually.
Spotify is the way to go. If we're on
Yeah.
Spotify, we're doing all right because, like, everybody's moving. I mean,
Yeah.
Joe Rogan just went to Spotify, so like,
Oh yeah.
Oh, we
That's
got it. We gotta get off Spotify now. we gotta go somewhere else. Joe Rogan's here.
Joe Rogan's where you want to be. Trust me. That means that's where the fucking market's at.
That's
I
true.
don't eat enough elk meat to be on the same network as Joe Rogan.
Fuck you, dude. I still love Rogan.
Is he like the most listened to podcast?
Probably.
I'm sure he is.
I can't imagine he isn't.
I think like maybe This American Life and then Joe Rogan. Like, I don't know. It's crazy. Anyways, Avatar. Let's talk about Avatar.
Okay.
All right. So, general feelings. Overall, the first half of Avatar was pretty meh. The second half was way better. Like, the second half of season 2 and season 3 were, I think, way better than the first half, and like did not like the first half of the show just didn't represent how good the show was going to be.
Yeah. I agree. I would even go as further to say that, like, I wasn't even that impressed by the second half of season 2. Like, second half of season 2 was like, like it's
such a
showing
low bar,
potential.
though. Like, second half of season 2 is good because it's compared to just like something that is like way down here.
Yeah.
Season 3 though is good. Like, I get it now.
Yeah.
Like, I liked it a lot.
No, it's obvious that people who love Avatar just forgot the first half of the show. Like,
Yeah.
you watched it when it came out, and you were like, wow, that was amazing, and then you just blanked out. that
That
first season and a
it was
half or
just
so.
goofy Nickelodeon shit for like the first like year and a half of its
Like,
life.
if you could take the first season and a half of Avatar and like condense it to like 4 episodes,
Yeah.
and then like the rest of this series just takes place in like the general world / universe of like season 3, you have a really like, I assume that's why everyone was so hyped for the live action Avatar series, not the movie. It's because they're like, oh cool, we're gonna like almost certainly do that because Netflix has no reason to make filler episodes where we like do dumb bullshit where we have to cross the Grand Canyon and like half of the people are rich and the other half are cave people because like that's a scenario that happens. You know what I mean? Like this show as an HBO show would be dope. Like I want HBO Avatar. I want Katara to drown someone. Like I just like gritty like element bending like so good. There's just like they really explore like the weird shit you can do in season 3.
Yeah.
Like,
and they all back off. Like blood bending doesn't make any sense. Not how that would work. It would just rip out of your skin. But like it's fine. Like I'm willing to suspend disbelief.
But don't you think that's what that's what I took bloodbending to mean, that you could just fucking kill people by just pulling their blood out.
But like they use it to like control people. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to move your blood and it's going to make your arms move." I'm like, "No,
well,
because
the
like
thing is,
if my arm is here and you pull my blood this way, the blood is just going to like rip out of my arm. Like I'm not going to move with it."
Not necessarily, because like, and it's not really blood bending. Like they call it blood bending, but you're bending the water in their body. Like blood bending just sounds much cooler than like water in your body bending. You know,
like imagine the season villain is a guy who like just turns people into husks. Like he just like sucks all the water out of your body and you look like SpongeBob on land, like that one episode. Like it's just that. That's terrifying and like super cool. Like that's such a good like, man, I want that.
So bloodbending,
HBO baby, get on this.
Bloodbending was the one thing I was talking about like in the last 2 seasons. I was like, the one thing I remember about this show so well was bloodbending. And like what it always reminds me of is like anybody who ever watches Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, like there's that one episode that like everybody knows, like the one with the Chimera. It's like that episode just fucking sticks with you because it is so fucked up. And like in the world of Avatar, like bloodbending is like super fucked up. And like they even acknowledge how bad that is and how evil that is, that you shouldn't just control people. And that was the one thing I was like really excited for that I remembered so well from the show.
It's a weird episode just because it feels like a filler episode until the last like 3 minutes when they're like, oh, turns out this lady's evil as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's going to like manipulate you into doing some like real not okay stuff. Although I will say there's no consequences. Like Katara learns to bloodbend, does it. And then I was like, all right, we're just going to like never, like this might get brought up later, but like she'll never do it again. Like it'll be like, you could save all of us if only you could freeze that man in place. And she's like, I can't, morals or whatever. But no, bitch out here bloodbending all time. She does it a couple more times later.
Yeah.
And like doesn't give a fuck.
What, Katara?
Yeah, dude, she only did it that like, general guy. Like
that's the only other time she did it though, right? Like she only did it that one time. And I think
it
was
more time after that.
Did she?
Fuck, I don't remember. It doesn't. That's what I'm saying though. I don't remember because it didn't matter. Like she did it again later and it meant nothing. Like,
but I think that was the whole point, was like she said she would never do it again, but she only did it once because it was the guy who she thought killed her mom, and like that was the only thing that made her mad enough to want to do it again.
And that whole episode was so cool because it was just like that episode, I thought, took a level of darkness that like I was super impressed with. When it was just like Katara and Zuko just like going out like, we gotta fucking kill this guy. And like they're like, maybe you shouldn't do that. And like, no, like I'm tired of your kitty bullshit, Aang. Like we're gonna go kill this guy.
See, it felt very out of character to me. Like I'm pretty sure I loved it. I think the episode was good. I think I have a note somewhere where I was like, we once again will randomly make characters just do way out there stuff for the sake of having like an emotional episode. Like it makes sense that Zuko would be like, yo, let's go murder this guy together, then we'll be friends. Like that totally makes sense for him to do that. It does not make sense for her to like after all this time to be like, I'm gonna go murk this dude. Like, despite the fact that like we have
I don't know.
we have harped on this fucking schedule all season.
Yeah.
Like, although I think no, because there was Zuko, so I guess this is after that. So I guess that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
But,
it was after. It was more like I always thought, especially the way Katara was characterized in this season. Like, I feel like that's very much in her character to like be like focused on that, like just like making something right in her eyes.
I'm never gonna bloodbend again, but I will murder somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know, like one or the other, man.
I don't know. I
would love the dark
turn
turn of Katara. Like if we're gonna do this, let's make her like season 4. Katara's like the fucking main bad guy. Like all of the trauma and bullshit, she like finally fucking turns. Like maybe Aang gets a girlfriend that isn't her, and it's like enough to push her over the fucking edge. And then she's turning people into that's who it is. Fuck. All right, guys, we're doing this. All right, we're writing the season.
I was always shipping Katara and Zuko, even before it became super canon. Like towards the end of the season 3, like I was always like these two. This is where all the sexual tension is, and like it finally like they started to acknowledge it towards the end of season 3.
That's what I love.
Evil together in season 4.
I think that recap episode where like they went to the play and like it was just kind of a recap of everything. I think that is the most brilliant recap episode of anything I've ever seen.
So good.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
It's like you were talking about. Like they acknowledged that there was that tension between Katara and Zuko, and Aang is just like this happy little floaty fella.
Notes. Like I was like putting all the notes that I had made, like that play in the second to last episode, basically just was like, yep, these are all the things that don't make sense about the plot.
Yeah, and they just they acknowledged it, and they were just like, these are all the mistakes we made along the way, and like we understand, but like we're moving on. We're just I loved that episode.
I did too.
That was a really good. I got like halfway through it, then I was like, oh, this is the whole episode. It's the clip show without the clips. Yeah. Which is super smart.
That's like community level, like meta, like episode building.
And like the episode or the part where they were like, yeah, there was this whole drill thing. It was super boring. You didn't miss anything. I was like, I kind of felt that way.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking forgettable.
Yeah, because that was one of the episodes that was like 2 episodes long, and it was like, it really didn't need to be.
Yeah, it was definitely like we need 26 episodes. And they're like, well, we can make this one
a
we bit longer.
We can pad this one. We can drag it out. So, what
favorite character in the end? Looking back to the whole series, who is your favorite character?
My 4th to last note is Zuko should have been the Avatar. So that's Zuko? Where I'm at. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like
Zuko has really had a great arc throughout the whole show.
Yeah. He's the only, as far as I'm concerned, he's the only real character in this whole fucking show. Like, everybody else is kind of a trope or a stereotype, and he's the only dude. I think it's because he's older. I think making him, because he's, like, older than everybody else, and I feel like he's more fleshed out because of that. Like, he's got a girlfriend. He, like, has this family legacy he has to care about. He, like, has a mission. He, like, comes to terms with his emotions. Like, he's like, I'm angry all the time to the point where if I'm not angry, I can't function as a human being. And he goes, that's fucked up. I should do something about that. And, like, has this whole growth. But it's still kind of a dick. Like, he doesn't lose himself. Like, he's sitting here going, no, murder people. Like, for real. Like, let's go on a field trip and fucking kill this guy. It's got to be great. Like, I'm not angry. I'm going to be happy about it, though. I'm going to happily murder this guy with you.
It almost seems like...
that's good.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Like, it almost seems like the creators liked Zuko more than anybody else because, like, a lot of messed up stuff happens to Aang. Like, his past is just, like, gone. Everything he knew just disappeared, like, in the first episode. And, like, they didn't explore that as much as they explored Zuko's past, you know, with his father and just his family in general. And it was, like, they definitely spent a lot more time with Zuko than I feel like they did the main character in developing him.
I think that they probably planned Zuko's turn to the good side from the very beginning.
But I think it was, obviously, because it was so telegraphed from the very beginning.
Yeah, but
I felt like the first time I saw him, I was like, this guy is one of the good guys. Like,
yeah, but I think that like they planned it so like he gets way more focused because like they have to like slowly like make that turn. Whereas like Aang is always a good guy, and it's still a kid show, so you can't mention the whole like genocide thing all that much, because like Aang survived like the Holocaust of his people. Like he's the only dude left from like his entire culture, which is just gone now.
Yeah,
but that's dark and heavy and fucked up for like a kid's show, so you just don't.
But I don't. But they did kind of talk about genocide a lot. Not the Fire Nation was trying to
a lot.
But the Fire Nation was trying to genocide like
they're just everybody. They're genociding everybody.
Everybody,
like,
yeah. And like
fucking...
they like the last, the whole like last 5 episodes, 6 episodes, whatever it was, like they were trying to genocide the Earth Kingdom, and like they had pretty much genocided most of the water kingdoms, and then like they basically successfully did with the air. So like they talked about genocide pretty much throughout the whole show. Like
I think they commit a lot of genocide. I don't think they really address the fact that like there's no airbenders left. Like the Fire Nation killed an entire quarter of the known world.
I feel like
that's like a way bigger deal. You know what I mean? That I feel like it got credit for. And the same with like the Earthbenders.
I was convinced to the very end there would be, though.
I know. The first thing I have, I put it up at the top because you talked about it so much, was secret cave full of airbenders. Where'd they go? What happened to them, man? They never showed up.
The White Lotus, I was like, all right, here we go. And the airbenders are on this fucking island. And it just turned out to be a giant, like, lion turtle.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, okay, never mind. No, this is not... I might be wrong.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that the White Lotus is just a bunch of old dudes who are like, yeah, no, Fire Kingdom sucks. We all know.
I think it was just they were adhering to a much older tradition of like serving the Avatar, right? Wasn't that like what the White Lotus essentially was?
Kind of.
I mean,
or was it specifically anti-Fire Nation?
I mean, by nature of their cause, I believe they are anti-Fire Nation. But I think that they say they're like we serve an older order or some such.
Yeah, we try to restore balance. We try to maintain balance because there were people of except for Airbenders, but there were people of every kingdom, every nation in the White Lotus clan, and they were all just like peaceful together.
Yeah.
All right, so there's something I want to talk about, and it's an episode that's not particularly like well known. It's kind of a filler episode, and it's part of why I think Katara acts out of character in the episode where she tries to murder somebody. That is the episode of the Painted Lady.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That is some Ayn Rand shit, man. Like I was watching that whole episode, I was like, geez, sorry. So like somebody read Atlas Shrugged. And then was like, oh shit, I've got to write an Avatar episode tomorrow. and this is what they came up with. Sokka votes third party. That's all I'm saying. Like, he's definitely... Like, I know we've been on this mission for like almost a whole year to like help people, but like this specific town of poor people, fuck them. They can help themselves.
Yeah.
And we can just leave.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really think about it that way. But, like, that's, Dude,
Toph gives, like, a whole, like, lecture. Like, she's like, I don't know, you could stop being lazy and clean up your river. And it's like, thanks, Toph. You know what? Thank God this 11-year-old chick showed up to tell us to clean our river. Like, get the fuck out of here. They're like, dude, fight the people who run the factory? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's just seize the means of production against, like, the largest military power in the fucking world. Yeah, we'll get on that. Thanks. We have sticks. Fuck you. Like... Get the fuck out of here! Like, I'm sorry that like we didn't have the literal strongest human being on the planet to like help us out. Which, by the way, you were gonna fucking leave us. Like literally, like you have like super powerful people who are like, dude, they should just like fight that factory fucking bums. And like, it's a really frustrating episode to watch from the perspective of like. Avatar privilege.
No, I get it. No, that's a good point.
It's like what the fuck is wrong with you people?
And it's weirdly antithetical to like what it seems to be like the overarching theme of the rest of the show.
And it took them like 10 minutes. It took them no time at all to fuck up that factory.
Yeah.
Like they bitch for days about like the food sucks, we can't get any supplies, these people are lazy local pieces of shit. And then finally Katara's like, I'll just go do it. It's gonna take like 5 minutes. Then they go, they fuck up the factory, Air Nation fucks off, the river's clean, everybody's happy, and it's like y'all could have done this from the beginning. Like, this is a shitty side quest that we could have knocked out in 10 minutes. Like, what are we doing here?
And like you were talking about, like Sokka for some reason was totally against it, and like that was the only episode he was like super concerned about like sticking to the schedule.
Dude, Sokka's like low-key alt-right. Like, he's just fucking, he's sitting on 4chan, fucking talking about...
Sokka, overall, I still think is a super lazily written character. Because, like, I think to your point, K-Nite, like, that he's always just kind of like, whatever if you have someone who is going to have this position, Sokka's going to be the person who's there to have the other position.
Yeah.
He's always just kind of like the antagonist within the friend group, you know?
Yeah. He's always whatever the writers need him to be for that episode.
Right.
No,
yeah.
he's the like convenient savant. It's like, oh, we need somebody who can fight. All right, well, turns out Sokka's super good at fighting. Oh, we need somebody who can mastermind this like battle plan. Turns out Sokka's a fucking genius when it comes to that shit. Oh, we need somebody who can make maps. Sokka really good at making maps. Oh, by the way, we asked him to paint a map in an episode, and he fucking sucks at it because it's funnier that way. So we're just gonna remove that entirely from his character. Like, we established all of this in season 2, and it's gone for a bit. So, but he's a master sword fighter now, so it's fine. Like, he just traded.
Right.
He reskilled. Like, he like took all of his skill tree points out and dumped him into fighting because he didn't need maps anymore. Like,
that shit just it didn't. Sokka never panned out for me that well. Like, he was
probably my favorite character in season 2. In season 3, I was like, why are you fucking here?
Yeah.
And maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he does so much stuff. Is because the writers were just like, why? We can't get rid. We can't kill him. It's a kid show. He's got to stay.
Yeah.
We can't send him off somewhere because he's part of the core group. So fuck it. He's just gonna learn. He's just gonna put one level in every side class he can. Like, he's just gonna be kind of good at a bunch of stuff until he needs to be good at it. Then he's gonna suck at it. Like, that's how this works.
Yeah. Although I will say, I think the 2 or 3 episode arc, like, of him going to the prison to try to save his dad.
Yeah.
With Zuko, like, that was some of my favorite stuff in probably the whole show. I loved that prison arc.
Yeah, that was good. I like that too.
Just because it was really cool to see.
And again, it was like Zuko still ended up being like the most interesting part of those episodes.
Right.
Is with with May, and it was like May's uncle who owned or who was the warden and everything. Is like he still ended up being the most interesting part of it. But but even with fleshing out like Sokka and his dad and their relationship, that was interesting too.
So K-Nite, who is your favorite character?
My favorite character, I think, for the first 2 seasons it was General Iroh. And he might still be my favorite, but they definitely
don't get to
like
pick General Iroh.
Why?
Because he's like the most merriest Mary Sue to ever marry Sue. Like,
and what's wrong with liking that?
Come on, like
what? I like him.
I know, like, I get that, but like, I don't know. It feels like cheating to pick the guy who is designed to be awesome at everything. Like,
I feel like he's kind of the master trope, you know? He's the sensei. Like, and that, I think he fills that role really well. I think he does a good job.
The only thing is he wasn't in season 3 much.
He wasn't in season 3, yeah.
So
I
think maybe could have done more with him, especially with how well the other characters were written in season 3 and like all the interesting things they did with
I
them.
think by
season
3
they didn't show his Prison Breakout.
I think by season 3 he was almost like elevated to this kind of legendary level, though.
Yeah.
Like, he was like it was almost more meaningful that we didn't see a lot of him, because like it was just whenever you would think you're about to see General Iroh, it's like the one-man army broke out of here, and it's just like carnage in his wake.
Yeah, and like
and
there
you're
was
just thinking like, whoa, where is he?
But there were still like ripples of his influence, you know, throughout the story, and obviously a lot in Zuko. But I guess you're right. He didn't need to be in it, huh?
The super interesting tension it created in like wanting to see him and being like, you know, he's coming back. You know, he's gonna swing back in here at some point and like turn the table some way. But like so much stuff happened and he just was nowhere, and you're just thinking like, okay, well where's Iroh?
Yeah,
like this isn't over yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They should have shown him break out. I wanted that scene.
Yeah.
I wanted that scene really bad. You built it up a lot, and then all I got was an empty cage. And I was like, come on. It's like the animation budget like ran out at the end of the season, and they're like, we can't do it. Like, we can't show this badass, like...
Yeah.
It would have been so cool. Although, I guess also, because you can't show him kill anybody, and you know he killed a bunch of people. Like... He pulled that, like, school shooter shit where he was like, hey, don't come in tomorrow.
Don't come in. Yeah.
Don't be here. I don't want to have to murder you later.
Go home right now. Go home right now. You're not feeling
sick.
well. Go
Get
home.
the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I don't know. I liked that though. Like that's really all we saw of him, and then he's just this shadow for like the whole season until he comes back and he's got like the answer to everything. It worked for me in the like scope of his character. It would have been cool to have more of him though. I do agree with that.
Yeah. And I do wonder how much of that was pre-planned and how much of that was the voice actor died and they just didn't feel like they wanted him in it as much.
Oh shit, I forgot.
Shit,
Yeah.
I didn't think about
Yeah,
that.
okay, never mind. Yeah, you're right. That's 100% what happened. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that.
Because it's at the end of that. It's at the end of that season 2
Fuck,
episode.
you're right.
Fuck. All right.
Yeah.
No, now I'm a dick. Cut all that out. Fuck.
Nope, it's
No,
staying
that's
in.
definitely why.
Yeah.
But it worked out because I think it had a really I compliment them for writing him kind of out of that season so elegantly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then bringing the character back because obviously you had to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like,
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to have like the full strength, Iroh, like White Lotus, going
Yeah.
ham on everybody.
so yeah.
So
Yeah. All right. So who's your favorite character, Fletcher?
Okay, so season 3, I didn't like anybody season 1, and I kind of started to like Toph in season 2,
Mhm.
but season 3, like, I don't know what episode it was, but I got so hard on the Azula train.
Yeah.
I bet you did.
Like, I fucking love Azula. She's like probably my favorite part of the show.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me you have a hard on for her.
Well, I mean, she's just kind of a badass, and she just like loses her shit completely
Oh, yeah.
at the end.
That
And
yeah.
like, I love,
She was great.
those
It
character
checks out
arcs.
as somebody who's known you as long as I have. This all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god, like that breakdown, like in her last couple episodes, she just becomes like a totally different character, and that's really fun to watch. Like that evolution into just pure madness.
Yeah.
And thinking like, oh, this is the worst case scenario for like the future of civilization. Is like this madman like just burning everything down while like leaving actual power in the hands of this crazy girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, this lunatic 19-year-old or whatever she is. Like,
Yeah, but at the same time you feel bad for her because you just like that whole season. I feel like you spend enough time, like, I think one of my favorite episodes, and it was a really silly episode, but it was like when they all like crashed that beach party.
I hated that
Yeah.
episode.
See, I liked it
fucking
too.
loved that episode.
I
Yeah.
hated that episode. But continue. Sorry.
I just felt like the way it humanized, like, and really distinguished, like, that group with, like, Zuko and May and Zula and the other, the other
The
girl.
circus chick.
Yeah, the circus chick. It created, for me, a secondary, like, group of kind of protagonists that I almost care about more than the main party.
See, I felt oppositely. I know that like
Really?
what you're talking about is what that episode was meant to do. It's supposed to sort of like kind of like more humanize these like characters that
Yeah.
have been bad guys for so long. But like all it did for me was let me know that I was right. They all suck. Like when
Really?
introduced to other characters that don't know that they're all royalty, they're all like, y'all
Yeah.
are fucking weird and nobody wants you around. I was like, you're right, rest of the party. These people are weird and we shouldn't want them around. Like,
Yes.
Zuko's a dick, Mai is boring, Azula is a fucking cartoon. Like, I literally have, like, we can talk about this if we want to talk about, like, the season finale. Azula is, like, a fucking, like, jet fucking engine or some bullshit. Like, she's a fucking cartoon. The only likable person out of that group is Circus Chick. We don't even remember her name. And she's only the most likable because she's, like, the least egregiously annoying. Like, she's just sort of sprightly and fucking around. And, like, that's better than, like, being a monster, but, like, in the most annoyingly cartoonish way. Like, Azula could have been so cool. This like
Oh, I think Azula was so cool.
This-
I love those kind of breakdown arcs though. I like to see a character just like kind of unravel psychologically.
to me,
and-
it felt like they jumped it too soon. Because I feel like in season 2, Azula is like this like calculating, like, I knew you were gonna attack, I planned all this shit. And then I feel like they just like give up on all of that to just like, oh no, she's just a monster who like hurts people and thinks it's funny, and then she like just goes full blown evil. And I
don't think she's evil. I just think she's severely like mentally unwell. Like
just because of her upbringing and
yeah,
who her
I think
father
that's
is.
what season 3 did really well.
I don't know. I found it really difficult to like even care when Azula, and I think I said this in one of our other Avatar episodes, which is the Firebenders aren't scary because they consistently lose all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when they win, they lose. It's like, oh, we got the Avatar, but not really. He escaped and is still alive, and he's coming back. Like it just really feels like I don't care about Azula because I know she is just gonna rage super hard, but then also. Like I don't know, like I just.
But that's a problem with like the general writing of the show and the general like parameters they have to operate in, because like it's a kids show. Like obviously the bad guy's not going to win. They're not going to kill anybody.
You don't have to kill anybody.
Like,
you could capture somebody. Like we could.
Yeah, and they did. They captured.
Who'd they capture? What's your name?
Ira.
Oh, Ira. Okay. Fuck, I remember how that happens now.
Basically, Azula did it, didn't she?
At the end of season 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when they captured him. And, like, they captured, like, the episode when...
They took over that whole kingdom, too.
Yeah. I mean, towards the end, the Fire Nation just about captured the whole world.
Yeah,
like, they were pretty close.
Azula
The Empire Strikes
kicked
Back in
ass
season
when
2.
she took over. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but, like, specifically, there was, like, the episode, actually with the eclipse, when, you know, they went and attacked the Fire Nation, and the Fire King wasn't actually there, and they outsmarted them, and they ended up leaving, like, most of the group there, as POWs, just so that Avatar could get out.
Damn near everyone, to be honest. Like, except for, like, that core group of people that were in the air temple at the end.
Yeah.
Like,
I did think it was interesting that we didn't think the Fire Nation wouldn't know about the eclipse.
And the other thing, okay, so I thought about this. So the sun is the source of fire.
Sure.
But the Fire Nation has fire everywhere. So even when the sun is blocked, can't they just draw upon, like, some of their residual fire?
No, because it's like... okay, well, it's like... The sun is still there. It's just it's blocked by the moon, but we have to sort of ignore science for a second, because whatever. But, like they lose the power to firebend. It's not like there's no more fire. It's like literally can't do it.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like. It's
like
despite the fact that the sun's like way bigger than the moon, you just can't see it because of optics. But like we don't have to worry about astronomy right now. But like they literally can't firebend for that like 8 minutes or whatever.
But it's like a mystical block created by the eclipse.
Yeah.
It's not like disruption from the sun, which is the way they
because like the moon powers the water benders, so like we can sort of do the moon spirits in the way of the sun spirit or whatever thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's nuts to me that they were like, we're going to attack during the eclipse. They can't firebend. And I'm like, I'm sure the Fire Nation fucking knows. I'm sure they know. I'm positive they know. Because they have to. Like...
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, there's 8 minutes every like how many years where we're like, we don't have powers. People probably want to come after us at that point. Maybe we should plan for that. You know what I mean? Like...
But still, like, that is their strongest defense and offense, is their firebending. Like, you almost have to take advantage of it, even if they are prepared. Like, you kind of got to at least try.
Yeah, I guess, but also we know they knew because the dude burnt all the stuff at the library. Like, he found out about the thing and then, like, torched all the stuff. So, like, the idea being nobody else would find out about it. Like, they tried to erase...
But just because an enemy is aware of its weakness doesn't mean you shouldn't still try to exploit it.
I guess. It just felt very like... They were like, they knew! And I'm like, of course they fucking knew.
Yeah. Well, I think it was that they knew the invasion was coming.
Of course... Like, I don't know. I feel like if I am a fascist tyrant and I am trying to take over the entire world, I'm probably pretty aware that people are not happy about it. And if they were to ever attack me directly, there's 8 minutes every however many years That's a really good time to do so.
You need to be really safe. Yeah, you're right. It is kind of common fucking sense.
I really feel like I would have laughed super hard. What they should have done, and this is like, you never would have thought to do this, but like what they should have done is when they do invade, is if the firebenders never use firebending even before the eclipse. Like they like just plan to have like trebuchets and like other like not firebending things. Specifically because they were like, well, we know what's up. Like we know that we're not gonna be able to do this, so we have other defenses.
Yeah, and they did. I mean, like they still have
crossbows
tanks and stuff. And like it's not like fire doesn't exist. They just can't fire bend. Like if you were saying they use trebuchets, and cover the rocks in oil and light them on fire, like you can still do that.
Imagine for me this alternate timeline wherein in this episode the eclipse happens and they're like, oh, we can't firebend, and then they all pull out flamethrowers. They're just
they're just ready.
Fuck you. And it was like, oh, son of a bitch. And like literally like some random foot soldier is like, of course, yeah, we have schools. Like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, we know what eclipses are. Like,
yeah,
this is standard shit.
We're the most sophisticated and like probably educated people in the world.
Yeah, which we established in another episode, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So why would we not be the most aware of like what our potential problems are? You had to fly into some mystical castle to learn this shit. We learned this in second grade.
My kid's got a little lamp that shows the stars on his ceiling. He already knows.
One thing. So there was the whole heritage episode for Zuko, where you go back to like his two great grandfathers, and like it's revealed at the end that like, well, obviously he's descended from the Fire Nation king, but then he's also descended from the Avatar.
Yeah,
like I didn't like that because like that sort of like created this this idea that like that good and evil in this world are like somehow like genetic.
Okay,
and it kind of undermines like I think what Zuko really represents is that like the Fire Nation aren't just evil. It's just that like there are bad people in charge of it.
I'm gonna go back to my Ayn Rand point. There's some problematic ideas written into Avatar here and there, and like this whole like the idea of like eugenics and like if you're related to a bad guy, you like will become a bad guy is like kind of everywhere. Like. Especially this episode. I liked this episode. I just thought it was a cool episode.
With Zuko, they were kind of subverting that a little bit, though. Right? Like, that's the whole point.
But they
of, like,
weren't subverting
Zuko
it. They had to make a whole episode to be like, no, he's related to also a good guy, so he gets to be a good guy later.
And that's my problem with it. It's like you've kind of ruined this character because now we've just rationalized that, like, oh, it's his blood from the Avatar that allows him to be better than these Fire Nation mongrels.
Yeah, although
and it's just like
I do think part of that was because like he felt like he had this like thing owed to his family, like we're the Fire Lord people. I have to take over for my father's legacy.
That still makes him less interesting.
I know, but like
makes him less interesting if now he's justifying standing up to his father because he knows he's got Avatar blood. Like, no matter how you cut it, like I think this episode makes him a weaker character.
Yeah, I mean, I don't totally disagree with that. I said I liked the episode. Now that I'm thinking about the episode, I'm like, I don't know how much. Like, it's not a bad. It was a
good episode, but it just left me with that kind of like at the end thinking like, oh, I don't really like the implication of like what we take from this. But like, I remember really enjoying it and being so sucked into that one, and that's part of why at the end of it I had like such a strong feeling about it.
I didn't think about it like that, but yeah, I totally agree with you now.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been better if he was just, like, evil, but he overcame it. But, he wasn't really evil because no
Fire
one is
Nation
just pure evil. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the Fire Lord is kind of evil. And there seems to be a streak of bad people in that bloodline, but that's historically accurate. That shit happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I was happy that we had an episode that explained where the Fire Nation like started to be shitty, Like I really wanted an episode that was going to be like, all right, this is the guy who kicked all this off.
And that's kind of what we got.
And they did it, and I appreciate the way they did it, where he was like, I think that we're going to like be super powerful for like a day, and if we take advantage of that, we'll take over like half the world. And for people to be like, that's not a good thing. And he's like, no. Trust me. People want to be taken over by me. Just believe me. And like the after being like,
I know what's right. I know what's best.
Yeah. Which like sounds crazy, but also like it's kind of how it happens. You know what I mean? Like where somebody's like, no, I'm the benevolent dictator. Believe me.
Yeah. Look at how well everything is going under me. Wouldn't everybody want this?
And in a way, maybe had he taken over the world, maybe he could have been. But the problem with that shit is he doesn't. No, he dies taking over the world, and his son inherits that. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, is your son benevolent? Is your son trying to take care of everyone? Or does your son have this idea that, like, he's the anointed king? Like, and then his son even further. And then all of a sudden, that's where we are set in present time.
Yeah, well,
I think benevolent dictators could exist.
I don't think so.
For the record.
I don't think anybody should be
I
the
think
dictator
there could be...
unless it's me. If I'm the dictator, I'm pro-dictatorship.
No, not me. I would be a terrible dictator. I'd forget to do shit.
That's the best part of being a dictator. You don't have to do anything. You're in charge of everything.
No.
You just get to have
dictator
assistance.
would handle shit. They'd handle shit on the highest level, and they would delegate appropriately.
The best dictator is a dictator who literally doesn't do anything. They're just like,
no,
I
formulate
can't
a well-represented council.
It's like idiocracy, where like they found the smartest man they could find, and they were like, you have to fix all this shit. We're fucked. President Camacho is best president. Okay, so we have not talked about... I know we asked about favorite characters, and this guy's a close second for me. Vagina Forehead Man is... My first note for this season is literally forehead symbol on mercenary guy is not safe for work. As soon as I saw that, I was like, that guy has an exploding vagina on his head, and we're not going to call attention to it.
I got to look at it again. They just call him Combustion Man, right?
They call him Combustion
Man. They had like a bunch of different names for him. I think they settled on.
Yeah, it was like Exploding Boom Boom Man,
and all acted like that was such a great name, and I was just like, it's still not a great name.
But they're like, they're like 13 though. Like a bunch of little, like, you know, like you have to remember the age group. Like if you're 13, like the fact that you knew the word combustion. I guess 13 probably know the word combustion, but like, it's the best you can do. None of these people have ever been to school. You know what I mean? Like, I applaud the vocabulary.
Which makes it weird that Aang still has the kind of social anxieties that growing up in a school system would create.
Well, he grew up a monk, lived in school.
He's dreaming about showing up naked. It's like you wouldn't dream about going to you wouldn't dream about not being ready for a math test. You've never had a fucking math test. Why are you dreaming about that shit?
You don't know what he did in monk school.
So like he kind of grew up in a school for like 11 years before he froze over, I guess.
Yeah.
So you think he like took math tests?
I'm sure they did. Like they had classrooms.
Yeah, to an extent. Like, I mean, like he has. I guess I shouldn't say they've never been to school. They've just only ever been to like martial arts school. Like they all learn how to fight all the time. Like that's like all possible. They do.
I guess it was like a giant abacus. So they like they went through the trouble of at least like.
See, I know that they're playing on like the trope of like showing like a dream about going to school naked. I just thought it was like, what's the scariest thing to like the Avatar? And it's like having to do math because all he does is learn how to like fight. So like for somebody to be like, you got to be smart. For him to be like, shit, I can throw fire. Can I throw fire? I can't add, but I can like make earthquakes. Is that cool? Is that close enough?
But what were you were I think I derailed you from what you were talking about.
This fucking mercenary guy.
Yeah, the mercenary.
Why?
I thought he was kind of fun.
I mean, he's
like the episodes he was in like felt like an actual like shonen type like this is this like recurring just badass that we're gonna have to take on at some point.
This like weird Terminator who like just shows up and blows shit up. But I was just like, he shows up out of nowhere.
He doesn't seem like he belongs in the show.
No, he does.
Like they pulled him off of some other.
And the reason he exists is so that they can justify why nobody knows what the Avatar is doing. Because the group is in the Fire Nation, and like literally, everybody should just go, oh shit, that's the Avatar, and then like everybody should
And
know.
then
So we had to hire a
invert-
guy who Zuko was like, no one could know he's here, and then like he just keeps intercepting messages so that like people can't find out. Like that's the only reason he's there.
Yeah.
Like he's a plot device.
Right.
Well, I also feel like everything else in this show, especially in season 3, he was put there for Zuko's development. Because in the end, he's the one who ends up like, no, you need to stop now. Like, I know I hired you, but you have to stop. And I feel like that was just like another way of showing that. And really, I think because he was really the main reason why they ended up trusting him.
Yeah,
because
they
that
saw
was
it,
the episode. Yeah, that was the episode where they all were like, no, like Zuko was trying to join the gang, and everybody's like, no, you, of course not. That's ridiculous. And then Boom Boom Man came, and he ended up fighting him, and they're like, okay, we can see where you're coming from now. Like, you are actually trying to help us. So again, it was just Zuko development because everybody, the writers clearly liked Zuko and were more interested in writing him.
I thought, maybe if anybody's the Mary Sue, it's Zuko. Like,
I don't know. I mean, like,
well,
Zuko fails a lot. I mean,
no, he does.
Yeah.
But I think he's clearly designed to be the character that the show's about, right? And Aang is kind of a stand-in for, because you need like a very simple hero.
Yeah.
I think the show's supposed to be about Aang. I think that Zuko is just a far more interesting character.
Yeah. No, I think that's...
I mean, Aang is the literal Mary Sue. Like, he's just like he's the Avatar. He's supposed to be super powerful and good at everything. That's his function in life. But
I feel like so much of the show focuses on his weaknesses, though.
And it does. I'm not saying that like they really like Mary Sue him, but I mean like by definition, the guy who is to be good at everything is like what you're told he is episode 1. You know what I mean? But even then, we were a decent chiropractor away from not having season 3. All we needed was somebody to punch Aang in the back, and he would have just been full-blown Avatar state, and we wouldn't have had to invade twice. We would have been fine.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing, by the way. I watched the season finale of this, and I was like, this is cool. I like that like he doesn't get to go full Avatar. He has to like really win. He can't just like go God mode. Then he bumps into a rock, and he was like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, and then it just goes nuts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah, that him getting hit in the back was enough to open up all of his chakras and make everything flow so he could go Avatar again.
This is chiropractor propaganda, isn't it?
My final note for season 3 is literally just the word chiropractic. I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, so dumb. Give me, with all the mystical bullshit and like everybody's got superpowers, the thing that allows him to go full Avatar mode is being shoved into a rock. And then he's just like, got it.
Well, and also the lion turtle.
Yeah, the lion turtle, which should have just been an island of airbenders. I'm still going. He should have just fucking discovered his people.
That would have made more sense than just this new character. Just that it was totally just like a Deus Ex Machina thing. It was like we need somehow for him to unlock his chakras and like be able to do the Avatar shit and like, you know, giant island that is actually a lion turtle that touches him in the head and heart and he can just do it now.
So yeah, floating island full of Avatar, it's full of airbenders. Aang joins them after the fight because like those are his people and he has to, abandoning Katara and Zuko. Katara becomes evil because she's bitter about Aang leaving and then becomes the fucking main bad guy of season 4. Come on. So good.
I like Katara.
But you would like her.
No,
your favorite character is like the crazy evil person who's like a mental breakdown. We could just do it again with Katara.
It works for her because it works for her. It's part of her. It's consistent with her plot. No, you can't just fucking Game of Thrones this shit.
I will Game of Thrones all of this shit. We'll burn down King's Landing every fucking episode if we have to.
You realize Game of Thrones sucked at the end, right? You remember that?
It only sucked because there was so much political intrigue at the front. If we started at season 6, nobody would have known any better. We would have fucking loved it.
So true.
We would have loved every fucking second of it.
So, the big finale was Aang like taking away the Fire Lord's ability to bend. Which, sure, that's a huge blow to him. But I still feel like the Fire Lord,
He's
his
the Phoenix
greatest
King now, by the way.
The Phoenix King, yeah. His
He
greatest.
didn't rise from anything. He was already in charge.
Yeah,
But he's the fucking Phoenix
he's
King.
the Phoenix King now, and like I feel like his greatest asset wasn't just his firebending; it was his smarts and his cunning and his evil.
We didn't take
genius.
away his power to be the king of the largest
Right.
nation on the planet.
Yeah, but they were just like, nah, take away his firebending. That's good enough.
That's all we need. He has the command of armies upon armies of other firebenders, but he can't firebend.
Because we didn't even see him for 5/6 of the show. Like he wasn't in most of it. You didn't even see his face till like towards the end of season 2, I think.
Yeah.
But he was
I think
still
maybe not even until season 3.
maybe.
Or
I think
I mean, I
these-
guess like Zuko becomes the Fire Lord.
Yeah.
Like this
So
whole thing
it's
is just
not
like
like
it's a
he's-
whole big military coup.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Season
could
4
still
really should be Katara turns evil, but then like also the like fire loyalists to the Fire Lord that are trying to like take over.
Civil War in the
Yeah.
Fire
yeah,
Kingdom.
dude.
That'd
Yeah.
been good. I'd watch that. But yeah,
That's what turns her evil. There's a civil war, and Zuko dies because of it. And Katara is like, I've lost 2 loves in the same like couple of years, and just like can't be consoled. And then like she turns evil, and then the Water Nation becomes like the new Fire Nation.
Fuck yeah. I love
Yeah,
it.
dude.
Do you know? I haven't looked up it at all, but like, is the live action remake? Is that what it is? Just like a live action remake, or is it like a new story, or
I think it's a little bit of
I think it's
both.
supposed to generally be a retelling.
just a retelling?
But-
I'm sure they're
The,
going
like,
to change
main
things,
writer's
obviously,
out,
but
so who knows?
huh?
The main writer's out.
Oh, okay.
Like the original
I think-
writer isn't in it
I think
anymore.
I think the project is currently a little bit dead in the water, but
Oh, yeah.
like it is something I know Netflix plan to do.
Yeah, for sure. But like, I don't know if maybe if it does well enough, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't like this, but maybe they could keep going, like do another season.
Well, this is available on Spotify, and if anybody's looking for a consultant for season 4,
You found it.
I've got some really solid plot lines.
I will go ahead and
I'm
send
saying.
this directly to Netflix so they can.
Yeah, you
They-
got those
they can-
connections.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
Those T connections go deep.
It's like Netflix at netflix.com or some shit. I don't know. I'll find the email address and send it directly to them.
Yeah, it's just Mr. Big CEO at Netflix.
Yeah.
So I know we already talked about the episode, but I just saw this note and I thought it was funny. Even the Avatar gang thinks season 1 sucked,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like they all watched season 1 and they were like, "This is bad.
Yeah.
This is so dumb. Why did we do all these things?"
And
But like, don't they say something like it'll get more interesting from here, right?
yeah.
Like, I wanted to say there was a line in there, something like that.
Yeah. Just everything about that episode was so good. And a lot of it, I wonder how much was budget. Because it definitely seemed like, especially that last episode, which was
Oh,
like
yeah.
the last, I forget, it's 5 or 6 episodes of the show, was like, it was kind of like a movie. It was like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Seemed to have like whatever budget they wanted. Because one thing I noticed,
That animation department went into overdrive.
Oh, yeah.
Some of those last fight scenes.
yeah, and the music was so much better. That is
Yes.
I think my biggest complaint about the show overall was the music was
Yeah,
just so
terrible.
meh throughout the
It was
show.
so forgettable.
But the last episode, they got a full orchestra in there. Like they got some proper music writers. Like the music was so much better in that last episode. But like I don't know if like season 1 maybe just didn't have the budget to hire more
I'm
writers
sure it
or
didn't.
more.
I'm just sure
I don't know.
Nickelodeon had no idea like what this was gonna be.
Right, yeah.
And then they thought they're just like, okay, this seems kind of cool and goofy.
Yeah.
Let's just try it.
And I'm sure
And it was like kind of a risk.
yeah, and you could tell like the animation was they didn't have the budget and they were just like I'm sure they pitched the show was like we can do this real cheap. Because I'm sure that sells to any network. So
Yeah,
and
no,
and
that's
then
how
it
you do
did
it.
end up doing really well, and you know, and you see that in a lot of shows. They start out cheap,
Yeah.
and then they get a budget as the show does better.
Well,
So
and I mean, I don't know. It might have been a budget thing. I also think that somebody had to, because I think that I know there was a season 4 planned that never happened.
mm-hmm.
But like I think it was one of those like they were like this is like really like the arc. So like they had to have been like, okay, we have to like remind, because like, it's a kid show. We have to remind all of these people of what has happened, because you haven't seen season 1 in like a year or something at this point, right? Like,
Yeah,
because if you're watching this in real time, so it's like, well,
it
we
was
need a
spread
recap
out over
episode.
3 years.
Yeah, clip episodes suck. Like, we really don't want to do like hey, you remember that one time where we had to get a bunch of poor people across the Grand Canyon? Oh yeah, that was crazy. Then like we flash back.
Yeah,
Like, I think it was just somebody being clever, and then also like they do this a couple of times throughout the series where they're like, people know who the Avatar gang is or are, and like they make shows like Avatar Day, which is, you know, people act out Avatar stuff. Like it's sort of, you know, there's this lore behind it.
But that doesn't really have anything to do with what their budget was at the beginning versus, I think I like obviously the way they handled it, and they will look back at their earlier stuff. But it does definitely seem like there was like it was like a whole different show from season 1 to season 3.
yeah,
It seems like there was a whole different like direction of like what they thought they could do with it, and there was a whole different level of like investment from probably Nickelodeon, saying like, yeah, do whatever you want. Like, what do we need to give you to like make this really cool?
yeah.
And you can tell that's there in season 3, and it doesn't seem like it's there in season 1 at all.
Yeah.
And part of it, I wonder, is how much after watching season 1 made season 3 seem that much better, because going into it I had such low expectations after season 1, and like I don't want to say I didn't enjoy season 1, but
You can.
Season 1's not good.
it's not that good, you know. It's just not. I mean, so I was right before this, I was re-listening to our season 1 episode, and we literally spent half the show talking about Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Wing and like other anime
shows.
Just because
All
like
better shows.
we didn't know what to
Dragon Ball
talk
Z.
about with season 1 of Avatars. Like, it looks cool, characters are interesting, but that was it.
Hey, if we want to do this for Gundam Wing,
I would.
Are we still planning on doing that?
I was gonna suggest it, but like I did a rewatch like a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's a similar thing where like a lot of Gundam Wing is really fucking bad.
Yeah,
A lot of it's really bad.
I did the same thing. I didn't get all the way through it though, for that reason.
It's so long. It's so much.
I was really
Is
disappointed
it?
with like I was like, this
Dude,
isn't what I
it's so
thought
much.
what I remember it being. But I'd be down to try it. I'd be down to try to do a Gundam Wing.
If they
watch.
pull a Sailor Moon and they like redo it and like re-release it, we should do it. But I don't know. We're like way off topic now. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. But on Dragon Ball Z though too. Did anybody else, the final like battle with like Aang and the Fire King like flying through those pillars? Did you not get these like Goku Frieza flashbacks from that shit? Like, just visually, I felt like that was like the end of Planet Namek type of like battle.
yeah, I mean, I did.
Like chasing beams through rocky shit.
yeah.
I did not super. I know I'm in the minority on this, like probably not just on this podcast, but globally. I didn't really give a shit about that final fight. Like when he got hit by a rock and then goes full Avatar state and he like surrounds himself in like a ball of stuff and like chases the guy around. Like, yeah, like you're right. It was very Dragon Ball Z. The difference is in Dragon Ball Z, everybody does that all the time, and like this is supposed to be like the final battle.
And in Dragon Ball Z, that Super Saiyan felt earned by the plot. Like when Goku went Super Saiyan, it was
Like if
Frieza
Goku
killed
bumped
his
into a
best friend.
rock and became a Super Saiyan,
Yeah.
you would kind of be like, well, okay.
Yeah. Are we still planning on watching the movie, like the live action bad movie, and doing commentary?
Wait, hold on. If we're gonna
is it-
like watch it together and do commentary,
Yeah,
I'm down.
that's what I'm thinking. We all sit together. Okay, so like we were talking about this in the first episode. We're gonna sit down, watch it together, drink a whole lot, and then we'll just like do a commentary of us watching it,
Like-
and then people can watch it.
I've
'Cause
got a
I don't want to get
I've-
DMCA.
I've got a projector. Like let's set that shit up. Like let's do like a full ass like movie theater gig, and we'll yeah, let's set up some mics and let's just fucking do it.
Okay.
I'd be down for that.
It's gonna be so
Yeah, let's
bad.
do it.
This movie is like, it's not even like the script suck. It's just everything about it is bad. It's like
That's what I've
it's
heard.
super
Yeah.
dark. Like
Yeah.
like not like thematically dark. Literally, there's not enough
Yeah,
lights on set.
there's not enough
like
light, yeah.
it's so bad.
Yeah, and all the characters' names are pronounced wrong, so I'm looking forward to how bad it is.
All right. Yeah.
We're
yeah,
all down?
Let's do
We're
it.
all in? All
I'm
right.
down.
All right. Moon ranking. Overall, what do you guys think? What's your moon ranking?
Overall season 3.
We didn't do a moon ranking for season 1 and 2, so I'm just gonna go overall. Half moon, new moon, full moon.
I think whole season, whole series. I'll go half. I think it's worth muddling through to get to season 3, but also, if somebody was like, I tried to watch season 1 and couldn't do it, I'd be like, nah, I get it.
Yeah.
You should just watch season 3. You don't need to watch season. There's a whole episode that fills you in on the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like you can just skip that shit. Just watch season 3 and like be good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
season 3 full.
kind of-
Everybody just watch season
Same.
3.
I agree. I would say the same thing that George just said. Half moon overall, because half of it was shit, and the other half of it's really good. So full moon for season 3. Probably maybe a half moon for season 2 and a no moon for season 1, but half moon overall.
I mean, I 100% agree. I can't say anything different than you guys just said. So yeah, half moon for me overall.
Yeah, there's no Avatar season 1 truthers out there. They're like, no, it's
Yeah.
really good. You just don't get it.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I'm sure there fucking are.
You have to
Like,
watch the
but-
whole thing to be able to appreciate season 1.
If
When
No,
you
you
go
don't.
back, when you
No,
go
you
back
don't.
to season 1, you'll realize these were the best episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some people I work with who are like hardcore Avatar fans. Like they're a bit younger than I am, so like they watched it when it was
Yeah.
on, and they're even like, "Yeah, no, we agree." Yeah, it's
They are.
you kind of got to get through season 1. So yeah, that I'm getting the general vibes of that from pretty much everybody.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great.
Well, I'm glad I powered through season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So I could have enjoyed season 3, because I did enjoy season 3.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's worth it for anybody who's on the edge. But just don't expect much. It's not brilliant.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a fun show to watch.
Yeah.
You could legitimately like take all 3 seasons and like edit them into like 3 hour-and-a-half long movies.
Yeah.
That would probably be what you need.
Yeah.
This whole thing could be like 5 hours.
Yeah, probably.
I've said everything I need to say. You guys got anything else you want to add?
I think we're good.
I think we're good. All right. So we still plan on doing Undertale next?
Oh.
How much?
Yeah.
How much have you guys gotten through it? I know you've already played it all the way through, Jorgs. How far are
I've
you?
played it a couple times.
Yeah.
I've barely touched it.
Okay.
I finished God of War, and then I started playing Nier, but
Okay.
I haven't gone back to Undertale. I'll jump back into it soon though. That'll be my next thing.
Okay.
I mean, you can. I'm a firm believer that you should play through it 3 times and get all the endings on your own, because like it affects the game each time you do it. But like you can beat it once in like 6 hours.
Okay.
Like if you, because like you don't need to fuck around. Like there's not a bunch of side content. It gives you the side
Yeah.
content as you play it. So like you can just sort of go, and you can get through pretty quick.
Okay. Cool.
But I'm also
Yeah.
I never want to tell anybody to rush through anything.
Well, I'm not saying rush through it. I'm just saying that like
6 hours would be rushing though.
It's not a big thing that I need to be like.
No, like
what I'm saying is don't explore. Like explore a little bit, but like you really
there's
don't need to check every fucking corner because it will send you to that corner later. Most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. That's.
All right, but we'll get more into that when we get to it. All right. So thanks so much for listening, guys. Thanks so much for joining me, Jorgs and Fletcher. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Later.
See ya.